Birthdays used to feel different. There was a time when they were filled with laughter, a few phone calls, maybe a slice of cake, and warm words from the people who mattered most. But this year, there was silence. Just another day on the calendar. No calls. No messages. Not even a "happy birthday" on Facebook from my kids. I didn't expect a party or anything grand. I know those days are behind me. But still, deep inside, I was hoping for something small. A reminder that I still mean something to them. That they remembered. But the day passed quietly. And I won't lie to you, it stung. Not in a dramatic, tear-filled way. But in that slow, sinking feeling where you realize, you've been forgotten. This isn't just about a birthday. It's about something deeper. It's about how easily we, as parents, especially as we grow older, can start to feel invisible. It's about expectations we don't speak out loud but still carry in our hearts. And it's about learning how to live with those quiet disappointments without letting them break us. If you've ever felt something like this, if there was ever a day where you hoped someone would reach out and they didn't, I want you to know, you're not alone. And if this moment touches something in you, just write in the comments, "I've been there." That's all. Because sometimes, sharing that small truth makes a big difference. I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Comment below and share your city. I always enjoy hearing from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like these. Today, I want to talk to you, not at you, not around you, but with you. Because this story isn't just mine. It belongs to so many of us who've given love, raised families, and are now sitting with a kind of silence we didn't expect. Let's talk about it, about what it means, how we carry it, and how we move forward with peace in our hearts. Point 1. Expectations can quietly break your heart. When you've spent your whole life showing up for others, it's only natural to expect a little something in return. Not out of selfishness, but from a place of love. You raise your kids, you give them everything you have, your time, your energy, your best years, and somewhere deep down, you hope they'll remember. Not just the big things, but the little ones too. Like your birthday. But here's the part nobody really prepares you for: when those expectations aren't met, it doesn't come with a loud crash. It comes quietly. A silent morning. A quiet evening. A whole day where your phone doesn't ring. And even if you try to stay strong, a part of you begins to ache. It's not about needing constant praise or attention. It's about wanting to feel like your presence still matters. Like you're not just a chapter they've already finished reading. That's the thing about expectations, they can build up without us even realizing. And when they're not met, they don't just disappoint you, they wear you down. Some people might say, well, don't expect anything and you won't be hurt. But let's be honest, it's not that simple. We're human. Of course we expect things from the people we love. A parent expects their children to care. A friend expects a check-in every now and then. These aren't unreasonable hopes. They're part of what keeps relationships alive. But as we get older, we learn something hard: expectations can quietly turn into pain. Not because others mean to hurt us, but because life pulls them in so many directions. They forget. They get distracted. They assume we're fine, even when we're not. So what do we do with that? How do we live with this quiet heartbreak without becoming bitter? The first step is just acknowledging it. Saying, yes, I was hurt. That's not weakness. That's honesty. It's okay to feel let down. It's okay to feel sad when someone you love forgets a day that matters to you. Don't push that feeling away, sit with it. Understand it. And then, slowly, start to loosen the grip those expectations have on your heart. Because holding on too tightly to what others should do only keeps us stuck. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring, it means we stop letting their actions control our peace. And peace, at this point in life, is something we've earned. Point 2, they're living their own lives, and that's okay. It took me a while to come to terms with it, but the truth is, our kids are out there living their own lives. And sometimes, in the middle of their jobs, their bills, their marriages, their parenting, they forget. Not because they don't love us. Not because we're unimportant. But because life gets overwhelming, even for them. You see, when they were little, we were the center of their world. We were the ones they ran to with every problem, every scraped knee, every big news. But now? We've slowly moved to the side. And honestly, that's part of what growing up is supposed to look like. They're supposed to become independent. They're supposed to build something of their own. We just don't always realize how far away that can make us feel. It's not that they've stopped caring. It's that their minds are juggling 1,000 things, deadlines, meetings, their own children, their own worries. And sometimes, things slip through the cracks. Yes, even something as personal as their parents' birthday. At first, it hurt me. Deeply. I thought, how could they not remember? After everything? But then I started to look at it from a different angle. When I was raising them, I didn't always stop to call my own parents either, not because I didn't care, but because I was buried in life. And now, years later, I'm on the other side of it. That doesn't make it right. But it does make it real. Understanding this doesn't erase the disappointment, but it softens it. It reminds us that forgetting doesn't always mean they've stopped loving us. Sometimes it just means they're drowning a little. And in those moments, we have two choices: hold on to the hurt, or hold space for grace. Letting go of resentment doesn't mean pretending we're not hurt. It means choosing not to let that hurt grow into something colder. It means reminding ourselves that we were once just as distracted, just as busy, just as caught up in survival. So maybe instead of waiting for them to remember, we send a gentle reminder. Not in anger. Just in love. Hey, it was my birthday yesterday. Hope everything's okay. Just wanted to say I miss you. Sometimes, that one message is enough to wake them up. To bring them back for a moment. And even if it doesn't, you'll know you showed up with understanding, not bitterness. And that's a strength only time can teach. Point 3, you're still worth celebrating, even if no one else shows up. There's something quiet and powerful about learning to celebrate yourself. It's not something most of us were ever taught, especially in our generation. We were raised to care for others, to put family first, to keep things going even when we were tired. And because of that, we got used to being the ones doing the remembering, organizing the birthdays, planning the meals, keeping the traditions alive. But somewhere along the way, when life slows down and people get busy, the roles start to shift. And suddenly, we find ourselves sitting alone on a day that once meant something. No one's knocking on the door. The phone doesn't ring. And it's easy to feel like maybe the day doesn't matter anymore. But let me tell you something, it does. You matter. Your story, your strength, your quiet courage, they're worth celebrating, even if no one else shows up to say it out loud. We often wait for others to make us feel seen, loved, remembered. But what if, just once, we turned that around and gave it to ourselves first? Not in a selfish way, but in a healing way. What if you made your birthday your own again? Not for the world, but just for you. Go get that cup of coffee you love. Watch your favorite movie. Sit outside and feel the breeze on your face. Call an old friend. Write yourself a letter. Light a candle. Bake your own cake. It might feel strange at first, but there's something deeply freeing in choosing not to wait for others to give you permission to celebrate your life. Because your life is worth celebrating. You've been through things others wouldn't even understand. You've loved deeply, worked hard, sacrificed quietly. And after all of that, you're still here. That alone deserves recognition. We spend so much time looking outward, hoping someone will see us, remember us, make us feel like we matter. But maybe, just maybe, this is the time in life where we start turning inward a little more. Not out of loneliness, but out of wisdom. Out of peace. There's a kind of joy that comes from doing something kind for yourself without waiting for someone else to do it. It's not about giving up on others. It's about lifting yourself up. And once you start doing that, you realize, you don't feel forgotten anymore. Because you've remembered yourself. And that's where healing begins. Point 5, aging is not a sentence, it's a season. You know, somewhere along the way, society started treating aging like it was a punishment. Like once you reach a certain number, you stop mattering. You become old, and suddenly the world talks around you instead of to you. People assume you've stopped growing, stopped dreaming, stopped feeling deeply. But the truth is, aging isn't the end of the road. It's just a different stretch of it. A season with its own kind of beauty, its own kind of wisdom, and yes, even its own kind of freedom. When we stop measuring our worth by how many people remember our birthdays or how busy our calendar is, we start to notice something else. We have time. Time to think, to reflect, to be present in a way that younger folks rarely get to be. We're no longer rushing through life, we're finally able to notice it. And that is a quiet kind of power. But I get it. It doesn't always feel that way. Some days feel long. Some days feel lonely. And it's easy to think, is this all there is now? But that question, when asked from a place of curiosity instead of sadness, can actually open doors. Because this chapter of life is yours. Not your kids. Not your grandkids. Yours. You don't need permission to enjoy it. You don't need to explain why you're choosing peace over people-pleasing. You've earned the right to wake up in the morning and say, what do I want today to feel like? And that answer can be as simple or as meaningful as you want it to be. You don't have to fill your days to feel valuable. You don't have to have a crowd around you to be important. You don't need anyone to tell you you're enough, you already are. Maybe your kids forgot your birthday. Maybe people don't check in like they used to. But you're still here. You still have stories inside you, love to give, thoughts worth sharing, and peace worth protecting. This season of life is not about fading away. It's about settling into yourself, fully, finally, without apology. It's about knowing your worth, even when the world forgets to say it out loud. And once you really begin to live from that place, the silence doesn't feel so heavy anymore. Because you realize, you're not invisible. You're just entering a chapter that moves quieter, and deeper, than the rest. So, let's go back to where we started. A quiet birthday. An empty phone screen. That sinking feeling in your chest when the people you love most seem to forget you exist, even just for a day. That kind of moment cuts deep, not because of the day itself, but because of what it represents. It touches that quiet part of your heart that just wants to feel remembered, valued, seen. But through that silence, something else begins to speak. A deeper voice inside you. One that says, you're still here. You still matter. Even if no one said it out loud. And that voice? That's the one worth listening to. Because this stage of life, it's not about waiting around for someone to show up. It's about showing up for yourself. It's about letting go of the weight of old expectations and making space for peace. It's about learning to be okay, even in the quiet. Especially in the quiet. You're not invisible. You're not unloved. You're just entering a new chapter, one where your worth isn't measured by how many calls you get or how many people remember a date on the calendar. Your worth is in the life you've lived, the strength you've carried, the love you've given, and the calm you now get to choose. So here's my question to you, are you living in a way that serves your peace? Are you waiting for others to fill your cup, or are you ready to fill it yourself, in small but meaningful ways? Let yourself grieve the things that have changed. That's okay. But don't stay there. Don't build your life around the people who forgot. Build it around the moments that still bring you light. A good meal. A walk outside. A phone call you do make. A hobby you finally pick up again. A quiet afternoon where you finally feel at home in your own company. And if this whole video resonated with you, I want you to do one last thing. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing you plan to do just for yourself this week? It can be small. Simple. But make it yours. Because you deserve it. Not because it's your birthday. Not because someone else said so. But because you've earned the right to be loved, even by your own hands. Even now. Especially now. Thank you for spending this time with me. You're not forgotten. You're just finding yourself again, and that's something worth celebrating.